about that. Top of mind, I want to talk about Kevin Willard. Some statements that he made as a Villanova fan. Obviously, Kevin Willard leaving Maryland, taking the job at Villanova. The way he left, I mean, you could pull 100 people in a room and 99 and a half of them would say that the way he left Maryland kind of sucked. And actually, we'll start with that because there's a trade in the NFL that we'll get to that involves the Cowboys and the Patriots. We're going to talk to Cam about that. But let's talk about Kevin Willard first and my frustration with him in this situation. As a Villanova fan, I'm ready to hold my nose with this hire and just hope that he does well and Villanova wins. And I do think that we'll get past all this negativity, right? But it's going to take a minute. And accountability is always something that comes into play. And this dude is showing no accountability. It's been he's been drugged through the mud now publicly after leaving Maryland and using the team's Sweet 16 run as a platform to complain about the resources that were being spent on Maryland's basketball team, and also as a platform to get another job, right, with Villanova. And success for him, okay. It's a dirty business. It's a slimy business. He has every right to take another job. The way he did it was kind of crappy. Scott Van Pelt, we talked about it yesterday, went scorched earth because Van Pelt is involved. Van Pelt's a millionaire, and he's involved with some of these collectives or folks that get the NIL deals together and try to pump resources into the basketball program at Maryland. So guys like Kevin Willard will stay and have the ability and resources to win a championship. So Kevin Willard was not honest with them about his intentions, was probably going to go to Villanova the whole time. And it was crappy. And when he was asked about it, he didn't own any of it. He said, I could have been a little abrasive last week during the Final Four. He basically was just, let me find you the quote because I think it's complete garbito. I think some of my comments during the NCAA tournament probably could have been a little less abrasive, Willard said Wednesday. Unfortunately, sometimes when my passion for my program, my passion for my players comes out, I get a little excited. The only thing I'm going to say is normal fans just don't understand what went on. Okay, that's backhanded. Scott Van Pelt's not a normal fan. Len Elmore is not a normal fan. Jay Billis is not a normal fan. He's an analyst, by the way. Those two guys I'm talking about are Maryland alums. But Billis is not a fan. And everybody thinks the way you handled it was garbage. So have a little accountability. Like, that's all we want. A little accountability. And don't be backhanded, average fans. Come on, bro. That we know what you're saying. And if that's who you are, that sucks. Because all people want is accountability. Like, if he were to have, and this is a grown man who's the leader of young men. It's not like an NBA coach. Like, even when Bobby Petrino quit his job with the Falcons, and I guess he left a letter in guys' lockers, didn't do it face to face. Like, that sucked, but it was an NFL team. It was kind of like, okay, it was a little easier to wrap your mind around. Those guys are pros. And a lot of the college guys are pros too, but they're still young guys who a lot of times their family is putting faith in this man to help steer them in the right direction. This isn't the kind of guy I want steering my kid. Totally honest. It's not. Like, from what I've seen so far. And, as far as people who were upset about what happened in Maryland, he said, I just think it's time that everybody moved on. Again, like, dude, I don't know. So clearly this guy is he's kind of prickly. And coaches are, and we'll move through this. Again, what he did was not criminal. But he certainly doesn't seem like a likable guy. And as somebody who is closely affiliated with Villanova, he's not somebody I want to root for. It doesn't reinvigorate me with excitement about the program, because a big part about a lot of college basketball situations is, whether it's totally misguided or not, we view this as kind of like a family, right? This is our family. Really easy to get behind Baylor and Scott Drew, even when they're struggling, because Scott Drew is just somebody who is so easy to love and root for. It's not always like that. Clearly it's not like that in this case with Kevin Willard. So whatever, that's like a bummer. I think the whole situation stinks. And, he's gotten a couple opportunities here to do a little mea culpa and own it, and he has not done any of that. So, all right, fine, whatever. Have some accountability. Story we're going to talk with Cam about in a little bit, and it hits close to home because it's a Cowboys trade. We have Cooper Rush going to Baltimore, signing a contract with the Ravens not too long ago, right? A 2-year deal. And by the way, he's guaranteed $4.2 million in that $2 million deal, $2 million deal, or 2-year deal, excuse me. So the Cowboys need a backup quarterback. They made a deal today with the New England Patriots, just broke about 20 minutes ago. Joe Milton, they have traded for Joe Milton to come to the New England Patriots. And they also got a 7th-round pick. And they sent the Patriots a 5th-round pick. So the Cowboys send the Pats a 2025 5th-round pick, and they get in return a 2025 7th-round pick and Joe Milton. I have no excitement about Joe Milton. I don't. Is he your backup? I guess. I mean, he was a really good quarterback at Tennessee. Has a limited time playing in the NFL. You were probably better off with Cooper Rush, to be honest. But okay, Milton's played one game, and it was against the Bills, and they won the game. He started the game. He had a touchdown.
He played super well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, here comes Scotty. All right, so let's go, Scotty. To me, this is not an exciting move at all. But I'd like you to tell me why I should be excited.
I think Joe Milton's really good.
Oh, here we go. By the way, we didn't talk about this at all.
No, not at all. I didn't know this was a topic today.
Well, no, the trade just happened. We got to talk about it. You're a Cowboys fan, so
Yep.
are you happy to see this?
Very, very. I think Joe Milton is what the Cowboys were hoping Trey Lance would be. And by that, I mean successful college quarterback, very athletic, very high upside. I think when they signed Lance, I was like, oh, he's going to push Dak. Not close. But since Dak has had injury trouble the last few years, like last season, I feel like Cooper Rush can spot fill in. But if I need him for 10 games, I'm not confident I'm going to win.
We saw it last year.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think everyone was hoping Trey Lance, he's dynamic. He's going to earn this, and he can win you football games. He's not that guy. Like, wasn't that guy in San Francisco. Can't beat out Cooper Rush to play. You're not that guy.
They both pretty much had an open audition last year for that job. To solidify that backup job.
Right.
And again,
Cooper Rush, no shade to Cooper Rush. Like, if a quarterback goes down and misses a half of football, I'm very happy to have Cooper Rush playing football. He's doesn't turn the ball over. He's what you want in a backup.
Well,
QB.
I saw him turn the ball over a couple times. At that Eagles game this year.
Not as much as Anthony Richardson.
No.
Or some starters in the league, Justin Fields. But I think Milton has legit upside. He played very well when he did get to play this past season. And I like it.
Okay. So
this is one of the first things the Cowboys have done where I'm like, let's go.
It's funny. The Cowboys bar is so low now that no, really, like a positive move for an also ran backup quarterback is like, oh, okay. This is legit. All right. So you got Joe Milton. Scotty's happy.
Bear the Truth is not happy.
What is it good? Finally, we got a sobering comment here. What do you say?
He says, Cooper, come back, please.
But I think, the Cooper Rush conversation, and even you could lump Trey Lance in this, were the Cowboys so bad last year that it was impossible for any quarterback to have success?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, because Cooper Rush was playing, as opposed to years ago when he stepped in for Dak and I think went 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
And clearly serviceable as a backup. This year he was like the Sam Darnold term, right? Seeing ghosts. Like he would drop back and it was like just a complete chaotic mess.
Yeah.
And he had no confidence all year long.
The Cowboys have not had a good offensive line for 2 or 3 seasons now. That doesn't help.
Well, and no running game doesn't help either. No commitment to it.
No. And that's where last offseason let's Derrick Henry, I can't pay for him. Here's Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Stupid.
So I think I again, remains to be seen, right? Joe Milton probably, if things are going well for the Cowboys, won't have much of an opportunity to prove us right or wrong.
So I'll be interested in Cam's take on this. I've, for a couple seasons now, and even going into this draft, I've said I want the Cowboys to get a good backup who could develop into a starter, because that's not what Cooper Rush is, and that's not what Trey Lance is.
Well, Trey Lance, I was still hanging on to hope last year. Honestly, that was my one little, like, when Cooper Rush got hurt, after Dak got hurt, and I was like, maybe Trey Lance could like pull it out of his ass here and have no chance.
No. So I wanted to see the Cowboys draft someone like, I have a man crush on this dude, but like a Curtis Rourke from Indiana, someone you can get in the 3rd or 4th round.
Yeah.
But very efficient college quarterback, can make all the throws. Hey, is this someone in 3 years? Because I mean, like or not like Dak, he's on a clock.
Yeah.
He's in the older half of quarterbacks in the league now.
Yeah.
He has been hurt.
He's down 33 pounds.
He looks good.
Yeah.
Looks really good.
Ozempic Dak.
It looks really good. But I think Milton fits that profile. Like, it would not surprise me if Milton's just a backup.
Okay.
It would also not surprise me if 2 years from now he's the Dallas Cowboys starter.
All right.
I think he's that talented.
All right. I will be very interested to see what Cam has to say.
Yeah, I want Cam's take on this too.
Because we know Cam has a take. So we'll talk to Cam coming up here in about 5 minutes. We'll take a quick break here in a couple moments. He's finally had the opportunity to eat. The question everyone has is, what did he eat first? Was it a gummy, or was it actual like food, something from food groups? I don't know that gummies count as food groups. We'll find out. I think he was most upset that he wouldn't be able to eat the gummies because the gummies would bring on more hunger. So the whole thing was very, very nerve-wracking for him. And it was nice to see him squirm. We actually had thoughts of we threatened to do reaction podcasts, but I was out and about after this all happened, after Devers got a hit. I will tell you something I saw last night. We're so sports heavy now. By the way, do you know, well, we'll talk. I'll do a little research about this, but I've heard things aren't going great with the Crown tournament, the college basketball tournament, but that's a whole nother story. I watched a documentary last night about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. It's on HBO. It's well done. We talked yesterday about it's really hard to get the real story on a lot of things, or like a good story with some bones to it, because there's just not that many documentaries that are made well nowadays, and people aren't reading as much as they used to. So people were relying on like lukewarm documentaries to get a story. This was not a lukewarm documentary, and it's on HBO or Max or whatever you call it. Man, it was good, and they give you all different sides of it, and what like a dark web PR version of like you just got to watch it yourself. I still don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I still don't know who was right or wrong. I think that Blake Lively, here's my take on this. Blake Lively is running in such rare air as far as like famous friends are concerned. Her husband, Ryan Reynolds, her level of fame, hanging out with Taylor Swift, that it's hard for her to be grounded in any way possible. I think those people that get that famous, like that level of fame, are just checked out from real society. And I think that sometimes that leads to certain behaviors that are just like spacey and kind of like, what? And I think that's where Blake Lively is. The Baldoni guy I can relate to. He's a people pleaser. He seems like a nice guy. And he just got totally overwhelmed and overpowered by the monster of a star that like Ryan Reynolds is, that Taylor Swift is, and the Blake Lively is. But I would recommend watching that documentary. I was spellbound the whole time. And I learned a lot because I had read, here's the deal. With the way that we consume news now, social media and the like, there's so many little piecemeal things that hit us on a daily, on a day in the news cycle that you're like, oh, okay, I remember when Baldoni sued the New York Times now. I remembered when Blake Lively sued Justin Baldoni. I remember when that video came out of them doing the slow dance in a scene that she complained about where he was being a little frisky. When now they have the video and his attorney put the whole 11-minute video out, and maybe a little creepy, but I don't know if it would be assault. There's the one character is that it takes you into Hollywood. They sit you down. They have the intimacy coordinator from that movie, The Last of Us, and the intimacy coordinator like comes on set. The intimacy coordinator is like a 20. I mean, this has got to be a 20 something, maybe early 30s girl. She's got the tats going. She's definitely alternative. So at first you're like, wait, what's this? Like, and then you're like, oh, this chick's super cool. And she was very down the middle and just like, I learned a lot about spaces that I don't want to maneuver in ever. But it's super interesting to get the behind the curtain. I think it's extremely well. I think you should watch it if you have any interest in that story at all. I got interest in what Cam Stewart is saying. I want to see what Cam thinks about this trade. We'll talk to Cam and then we'll talk to Darby. Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is great news. So for all of you who have supported the show, thank you. Again, we continue to bring sponsors on, but our channel, the Pizza channel, is now monetized on YouTube. And that's cool. When you think about the sea of stuff out there on YouTube, 1% of shows are monetized, really, maybe less than that, right? I mean, and we're one of those shows. So we're going to continue to grow. Hopefully make a little do-re-mi on this so Corey doesn't kick us to the curb just yet. Yeah, so monetization, sponsorships, we're doing it. And we're loving it. So we appreciate you guys being on this journey with us. And Cam is going to join us aboard this journey. Coming back after this short break. The Pizza Show presented by Slovakics marches on after this.